for you guys, to everyone. Hey, welcome everyone for another NTM AMA, and today we have the team Raven that is joining us today. Thank you guys. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. We know that you actually launch the official playtest for the VE3 playboard holders, and I can imagine how busy you can be today. So I would like to thank you very much. Mr. Silas is with us. Mr. Bigfoot, my dog, is here.
You can
So
call
give
me
them some big shut up. And how you doing, guys?
good, good. You can just call me Alistair. I haven't changed my
Alistair? All
yeah,
right, sounds
yeah.
good. So
Um
Alistair is with us and Silas.
No, I
All
think it'd
right.
be hilarious if you just referred to him as Mr. Bigfoot, my dog, the entire AMA.
yeah,
I would
that
crack up.
it would be funny, but I don't know. I feel a little out of place, you know?
Yeah.
No,
Well,
totally, Alistair.
thank you for
Uh
inviting us on. I think we've had a chance to play with a few guys already.
Yes,
It's been a lot
sir.
of fun. So yeah, like you mentioned, we launched the the VIB playtesting for Revan. I think about an hour and a half ago. Well, no, sorry, 7.5 hours ago, and then we did our
Seven
community.
hours.
Yeah, and then we've been. It's been a blur of a day, as you can imagine. We've had so many new people playing. A
Yes, sir.
few big bugs reported. Some good suggestions coming through, but mostly it's just nice to be able to enjoy playing the game with everybody, and seeing all the new faces.
I love that. I love that. All right. So, can you tell us about being the creative director of Ambitious Games?
Yeah, so I'm the creative director, which essentially means that I'm the person that kind of coordinates all of the other teams. So we've got, well, we started the company with about 4 people working here, and last year we had 7, and now that we're partnering with Playable, we are expanding the team to a few more. I think we're going to be somewhere a little over 10 people on the team, um, maybe 12 by the time we're done hiring right now. So we're pretty excited to be welcoming a lot of new people onto the team as well. We've got a handful of programmers, some artists, composers for music, balance designers. So yeah, my personal job as creative director is sort of coordinating everybody as they work on the game together.
Nice, nice. And how about you, Alistair? Can you tell us about your path to become the community manager for Raven?
Yeah. I joined the Ambitious Games team. Was it probably like 2 or 3 years ago now?
About
Mm-hmm.
2 years, I think it was 2020.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds right. Um, and I joined and went through a program with Silas, where we
Mm-hmm.
learned how to pitch to investors. Um, and from there, began to work more closely with him on the project, and eventually got more involved overall. And that's kind of where I ended up where I am today.
That's great, man. That's great. I love. I mean, guys, it's very important to have this experience, and you guys are showing that by the quality of the game. And uh, I think that you are precursor on this type of game and the quality of it, because yes, we saw a lot of crypto game and crypto projects around, and yeah, they can be a first shooter, but you guys make it more than a first shooter. There is like this type of League Legend first shooter, I love how the concept that you created. So from there, how the idea of Raven come from? Like,
Revan's original concept came from a few different places. I think one of the core concepts that we wanted to embrace was player customization.
mhm,
You look at so many other MOBAs, shooters, all these games that are on the market right now, where you choose a character, whether it's a hero or a champion or whatever they call it, and that character is going to define what your character looks and sounds like, what
mhm,
abilities they have, what weapons they use, and what stats they have. And we wanted to make a game that allowed players to create whatever character they wanted. So if they liked an ability, this ability and this other ability from another character, you could really, mix and match those together in a way that's never been possible before in any other MOBA. Um, and that sort of deck building element, if you're coming from a background in like a game like Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone, where you're sort of collecting different things and combining them together to create a character that is uniquely yours, but you can also share it with the community and they can copy it if they think it's really good. That's something that I love about Revan.
nice.
Um, I would add on to that that when I came onto the team, we were a lot more focused on like the type of game that we wanted to make,
Mhm,
versus like where Revan was earlier on in its development.
mhm.
Um, so I would say that about 2 years ago, we also brought some other people onto the team around the same time, and the game has come a really long way in that time frame. really is where we've kind of fleshed it out and figured out what we really want it to be. Because a big part of the game is kind of fulfilling that childhood action figure uh, fantasy where you're playing with your guy. A lot of games ask you to identify with a character and take on their role within that universe, but we want you to create your own.
Hmm. Nice, nice. I like that. So talking about that, I see that uh, Raven has like some kind of future about it. So can you like have you guys enjoyed working on this project?
Yeah, I mean, I've loved making Revan. This has been like a dream come true, I think, for myself. And I won't speak for anyone else, but I'll let Alistair speak to that.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Nice.
no, I totally agree. This has been just like such a huge opportunity for us. We're all coming from like a background of, just like a lot of the team is younger guys that have been kind of into like coding and computers and modeling and just all the different skill sets that we need to make a game. And we've kind of come together and really formed a team that I feel like is delivering really well.
Nice. I love that. I love hearing that, guys. It's very important like to enjoy what you are creating because I think it's the best way to have the because I think you guys are probably gamers as we are, and what is the best way to create a game than by a real gamer, right? That's really know what is needed to bring this joy and fun to other players, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
I'd like to kind of touch on that very briefly, if you don't
yeah,
mind.
sure, of course.
Obviously, I've played a lot of video games growing up, but I think
Hmm.
what I think is really interesting about how we've built Revan and the team that's working on it
Hmm.
is that we're coming from such a diverse background of gaming, right? Like we're not all coming from one game saying, "Oh, we all love League of Legends, let's just make League of Legends better." That's not what we're doing. Are, 10 plus people coming from so many different backgrounds in gaming. Alistair's been playing League of Legends for way too long. I've been playing League for a few years. Some of our team members come from Dota 2, some of them come from Smite, some of them have never played a MOBA before they started working on Revan. For example, Kyle, our lead artist, is someone who his background is games like Halo. He's much more of a shooter player and had never even wanted to touch a MOBA until he started working on Revan, and it's that unique blend of genres that Revan brings to the table that I think is so exciting to players who maybe don't like MOBAs because they're top down or because of the way that they're so complex or because of whatever reason about them that they just don't like. Revan's a completely new take on the genre that I think is appealing to people who maybe have bounced off of other types of MOBAs.
Very good. Very good point. I like what I heard. Very nice. And again, just to remember everyone that is listening on Discord, on YouTube, please keep the question. As soon as we finish, we're gonna read the question on YouTube, and everyone who is on Discord will be able to ask some question if is needed. So today begins the Raven testing for playable VE3 members, and I don't know if you saw that, but NTM was very excited about it, and we have been playing for a while. And can you guys tell us a bit more how the test play is going? Um, Anything you wanna share with us about that?
Uh, like Silas said earlier, we ran into some bugs and some hiccups here and there.
That's normal.
Right. Which is actually exactly what we want, right? Like that's what the tests are
Exact.
for.
It's better to
Uh,
have it now, right?
exactly, exactly. So that's actually going to be really nice. We're going to be able to get to work on that feedback
Great.
and start fixing those issues. But otherwise, it was really nice to just sit down and play the game that we've been working on for so long with
Hmm.
people for the first time. I
Mhm.
mean, there's like no better feeling than showing someone something that you've been working on forever and having them like really enjoy it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, I can imagine that.
No,
And when
it's absolutely amazing. And when speaking about the types of bugs that we've discovered during our playtesting today with the playable VIP members, one of the immediate bugs that we encountered was related to account signups. Of course, one of the worst types of bugs to have. So, that's something that we are actively working on improving some of that. We actually put out a couple of hot fixes during the afternoon to improve some of that UI, just updating the buttons so that they seem a little bit clearer about which one you need to click to start signing up if you are a VI3 member. Um, and even little pieces of feedback like that matter so much to us. Things like our tutorials are things that we've only recently really started working on. You can imagine when you're building a game, you kind of need to build the game first before you can build a tutorial to explain how to play the game. So the tutorials in Revan are very new. They're very still much work in progress. Um, and so these are areas that lots of new players can come in and give us feedback before we bring the game to the public.
oh yeah, totally, it's very important to do this test, and I think NTM had this experience so much times to play games that broke when you are having fun and you are getting stopped for weeks and months, and then you are just starting to hate the game because you are not able to play the game as it should be, right? So I like this test. I like people testing, and also, um, if there is a test, yeah, it was a test. We're gonna work on it. So you say that, and you don't avoid saying that's no, it was no error. Is maybe a clear cache and restart computer to fix the issue, right? So that's very important to create this trust with the community, and you guys are doing it very good. Myself, I have some issue today to play with my controller, and I get some support, from you and from normal members, and I get to fix it, and I love that. I love the experience, so thank you very much for that.
Yeah, I'm glad we were able to get that controller issue resolved
Yeah,
for you.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it was you were using a PS4 controller and you just had to set it up through the Steam controller mapping.
totally,
Um,
that's it.
yeah.
It was simple.
And when you talk about like working with the community to improve the game, we've been conducting all kinds of testing for the last um 3.5 years at this point, I think. We launched back in like October of 2018. We launched our first ever like closed alpha test. This is obviously way before we started working with Playable. Um, and we did a very small closed alpha test back then where just people that we invited that we knew personally were able to start playing the game. And we did that for a couple of years. And then back in November of 2021, we launched a uh, small beta where we started to bring in some more players, and then we started working with Playable very recently. And so throughout this entire process of having playtesters, whether it was the alpha, the beta, the Playable testers, um, one thing that we've always done is we've been putting out an update for the game every single week. On every Monday, we've pushed out a hot fix or a weekly update for the game. And you can go to our website, go to revngame.com and click into the patch notes, and you can scroll back and see most of those patches are still on our patch notes for the last three
Nice,
plus years.
nice.
That's something that we're super committed to is making sure that we're always updating the game every week, if that's even just a couple of bug fixes or a
Mhm.
complete overhaul of the meta, rebalancing everything, adding new abilities, adding new enemies, new skins, whatever it is. We want to make sure we're always putting out our work that we've accomplished in the last week and getting some of it to you guys as soon as possible. And I think that has really demonstrated how serious we are about this game and how committed we are to improving it every single week. And then with these community playtests that we host every week, it gives everyone the opportunity to play through that content, play through those bug fixes, and tell us what is working and what is not working.
That's great. That's great. I love that. I think people listening are getting excited. And yeah, you say it's all. Transparency is what's define the project. Because some project tell you, hey, sorry, we have some bug, we're gonna fix it. No deadline, nothing. And they don't even show you that they are working on it, and 3 months after they launch a server that is still broken, right? So not good, not good. And you guys are doing it's good. So I think we talk about like the gameplay of Raven a bit, but can you give us a bit more information about the gameplay and what's similarity to other shooter games that are known to give maybe a better idea to our listeners?
So it's a little hard to answer that in the way that you phrased it because uh, in a lot of ways, I think just by virtue of where Revan came from,
Mhm,
like the really humble beginnings, it's a very unique gameplay experience. And I know that's like, oh my God, he said it, unique gameplay experience. The game
mhm,
developer,
mhm,
who could imagine? But no, I think that Revan is it's aiming to do something that we don't really see a lot of in the industry, which is really get that blend of the third person shooter and the MOBA gameplay.
mhm,
Um, so for us, that looks like having a lot of verticality in the map, which is something that you don't necessarily get to explore in a traditional MOBA, right? Because we have the shooter angles, and we're able to actually like give benefits to players for being in high ground because they can peek better, right? So
mhm,
like it gives us a lot of like new gameplay design avenues in the MOBA genre in ways that we can influence it through shooter mechanisms. Because Revan does, if you just build like all of your weapon damage and like build for your gun, you can kind of play like a COD character if you want to. If that's your approach to the game, right?
mhm, mhm.
But what we're always aiming for is having the game and your gameplay experience be your own and something that you're creating, and then from there we just look to create the avenues for you to explore.
And when
Uh,
we're talking about the shooter experience, as Alistair said, it's very unique in that you have um, more of an emphasis on what stats you've used, or what stats you've purchased in game, what abilities you've chosen, where you're positioned in the map with your team. There's a lot of strategic elements that are coming through from its MOBA DNA.
mhm,
Um, for people here who have played League of Legends, you know how important positioning is in a team fight. You need to make sure that your tank is in the front line and your ADC and your hyper carries and stuff are kind of in the back line, and there's a lot of that type of positioning carries over into Revan. Maybe not exactly the same because our weapons and abilities are different, but that same type of thinking where the positioning of your character matters, the stats that you've bought, if you're doing energy damage or if you're doing physical damage, that's going to be going up against different defensive stats and armor and things that your opponents will be using. So there's a whole bunch of things like that that actually matter a lot more than having super good reflexes and landing all of your headshots. You know, I always like to look at the game's design and say, if somebody is not, pixel perfect at landing headshots and they're going up against a player who's got better items, better positioning, working well with their team, the person who is working with their team should be the one that wins that fight. And I think Revan does a really good job of that. It's not
nice.
all just about who can shoot the best.
That's good. That's good. It gives more chance for everyone to win, right? So,
Yeah.
later, will there be any option for players to go on a server alone and practice for friends. So, for example, if I wanna matchmake with only like five NTM members, is there an option in the future, or that we will be able to do that?
Mm. Um, so I don't think we can really say anything for sure,
Okay.
um, yay or nay. But I know that that is something that would have positive reception within our dev team, and
Mm-hmm.
it would resonate, especially with, like Silas was saying, we've got Kyle on our team who's a former Halo player, all day Halo gamer, right? So of course he's gonna want, he'd be love for there to be custom matches. So
No.
that is something we could certainly look into, but it would be a long ways off in the future.
All
I
right.
think in the meantime, though, we do have party-based matchmaking. I know we found some bugs with it today, but it works most of the time. And just by using party-based matchmaking, you can make a party with yourself and four of your friends. You've got five people in that party,
Mm-hmm.
and right now there isn't a way to create a custom lobby where you like make your party five and you play against five more of your friends. Like if you've got 10 friends, there's currently not a way to make sure you're all playing together.
Mm-hmm.
But those types of custom game modes or like tournament game modes will be coming in the future. I think, like Alistair said, we can't comment right now on exactly what those look like just because it's so far out. But REVN is being developed to be a competitive esport, which means that we will have some form of tournament game modes that tournament organizers can use to bring their players together. And I can only imagine that whatever tools we build for tournament organizers will also end up being released as like a custom game mode option for regular players.
Nice. Nice. Good answer. All right. So the million question: when do we expect a full beta to be ready?
The full beta for like everybody, not just the
Yes,
VIP
exact.
members. So right
Like the
now,
full beta, I mean, by saying the full beta, it will not be on test anymore, and maybe the play to earn will be on it or something like that.
sure. So I guess what I can say about our timeline right now, we just launched the VI3 testing. That is scheduled to run for 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
So from the today the 20th till April 27th.
Yes.
And then once the VIB testing ends, we will be looking at how did the servers perform. I'm already looking at some of the analytics, but we want to keep testing obviously for the next 6 days. We're going to look at how well the servers performed, and if the servers have any major issues, we're going to need some time to work on those issues.
Mm-hmm.
So, and who knows exactly how long it's going to take. Of course, when you're working in game development, all kinds of things can cause delays unexpectedly. But we are hoping that if there are issues, we can solve them quickly. And then if there aren't any issues, or once we solve them, we will then be working with Playable to launch the game into a full open beta that everyone has access to. So I would say, shortly after the VI3 testing ends, you can expect some sort of announcement from us about how soon that open beta is coming. As far as when will play to earn mechanics be implemented, we don't have a release date for that yet. We are very early in the process of implementing those things. We are still, designing some of the systems, and there's a lot more work that needs to be done as far as like actually building out the APIs and the user interfaces and all of that. But yeah, I think at this time we don't really have any more information about like when exactly that is coming.
Nice. So, are you exciting guys to be like the most excited project into the blockchain gaming with Playable?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that what we've built here, I think REVN is going to be one of the coolest games on the blockchain, as you called it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, personally, I may be slightly biased, but I think REVN is just one of the coolest games ever. Um, And so, of course, it's going to be one of the coolest games on the blockchain. And I think that the systems that blockchain technology brings to REVN are going to, allow players to trade and resell skins or enter into tournaments, and those types of things are all, cool things that we've seen across gaming for a while now. In different games, you've had skin trading, you've had tournaments, but they've, never really had all of those things all together at once in the way that I think REVN's going to have it.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, I'm
Anything,
really
Alistair, you want to add?
yeah. I mean, I'm really looking forward to working in this industry moving forward. Um, because this is kind of like the forefront of uh, web technology right now.
Mhm.
Um, so I think it is like a really exciting opportunity for us to make something that can actually make a splash as something bigger than some of what the like NFT games we've seen so far have been. I know a lot of them are like mobile games, so I think like the platform is pretty unexplored for it, and I'm really interested to see how far we can take things.
Oh yeah, man, we are excited here in NTM, and I cannot, I can tell you, like, as soon as we get the hand on that, you better be careful. If you are playing there. All right, so we're gonna open. That was good, guys. We did a good time there to leave some time for questions. So we're gonna open for question. Mr. Kaizen, do we have any question going around in YouTube? We can start with that. Nothing yet. All right. Anyone on Discord, please raise your hand if you wanna come on mic and ask any question, any feedback, anything you wanna share with Reventy. I think it was pretty clear. See no one asking question here. Yeah, of course. You can ask questions too.
Yeah, so there is a dumpster in the map. And when the dev team was making the model for that dumpster, one of the developers put it into an animated GIF where it just spins around and it has like the text on it that just says Revan Dumpster. And we turned it into an emote in our Discord server, and so now it's just kind of this inside joke of like I don't really know how to explain it. It's like weird internet humor, but there's this Revan dumpster GIF that we share in our server. Let me see if I can post it somewhere in um in your server here so you guys can see it.
Yeah, put it
Uh,
on voice chat text. Is just on the top of NTM stage.
where is it?
I'm
Do I
gonna
not
type it.
have permissions to post servers stickers
No,
from
you should.
stickers? Um,
Here.
I'm not seeing any of my other Revan server stickers in here. What the heck?
What?
Uh, that's very odd. I
Here. Here. Megapixel just posted. You don't
wait.
see. I just
Yeah.
tag you. You don't see it?
Let me see.
Oh, thanks,
Oh, there
Mega.
it is. How can I not post it? Why don't I have permissions to post my own sticker?
You should. Really, you can't?
No,
All
I
right.
think it's not just showing. I think it's an issue on my end with Discord. It's just not showing any of my
Yeah,
stickers.
Discord is so broke these days. I had to quit and come back just for
Well,
the sound for 1,000 times. Yeah, it may be that.
thanks, Meg. I appreciate you.
But you
You
have
keep
you
you
have the
keep it on
access,
your
my friend.
desktop.
Yeah, I see. He's a big fan. All right, we have a question from Helton. Can you explain again how the upgrades works?
Yeah. So the upgrades I think are pretty pretty easy to digest once you've actually held them in game and used them. But basically, you're just gonna be buying items. So we'll say damage coils, for example. Damage coils is an item that gives you weapon damage as the primary stat. Um, and as you upgrade your damage coils, you're just going to get more weapon damage on your damage coils. Likewise, we have ability upgrades, and they are typically enhancing the effects of whatever the ability is. Whether that be if it's like a damaging ability, it might increase the damage when you upgrade it. If it's a slowing ability, it's probably going to increase the slow when you upgrade it, reduce the cooldown, that type of stuff. And it is pretty much as simple as just clicking the upgrade button when you have enough Iker or in-game currency in order to upgrade.
Great. I see Relief typing. Come on, Mike, my friend.
I see CO2 Gaming asking on the YouTube chat, will it be like an ability tree? It's more like a linear upgrade, but you choose any of the abilities to put into your slot at the start of the game. So like once each ability upgrades its stats, but it doesn't like transform into other abilities. So rather you're just kind of picking different abilities to put into your 3 different slots.
Relief, go ahead. You have the mic. Go ahead. Don't tell me you cannot talk. All right, I'm gonna read your question. So, will there be a free to play? Will free to play be able to play to earn, or will it be pay to earn? Mic not working right. Too much internet lag. Okay, yeah. So that's his question. First, will there be a free to play? And second, if this free to play is existing, will it be like a play to earn or may pay to earn? So what do you mean by pay to earn? Like buy NFT to play? Something like that?
Um,
Yeah,
So I
go
think
ahead, Silas or
so
Alistair.
the quick and dirty of this is that like Silas said earlier, when it comes to the implementation of um cryptocurrency into Revan, wallets into Revan, we're so early in the stages of development on that. So we're not able to give a definitive answer on the latter half of will free to play be able to play to earn, or will it be pay to earn? Because we have not necessarily figured that out yet. Um, but what I can say is that Revan always has had the goal of being free to play for accessibility purposes, and I think we'd like to maintain that trend.
That's great. It's definitely important to have an option to free to play, maybe with some low earnings. Um, but that's what attract the big numbers because everyone starts with free to play, and then when they're really interested about the game, they can invest or buy some skins or some NFTs, and by doing that, they just support this gaming blockchain and they understand a bit more and more and more and more. That's how everyone starts, right? So I like
yeah,
that you
and
guys
I think
are staying with that.
one thing I'd like to kind of add on to that,
Of
like
course.
as again Alice was saying, like we're very early in the process of figuring out how Revan will implement blockchain technology. Revan has been in development for coming up on 5 years now. It'll be 5 years in like a month from now. And we've really only started working on our partnership with Playable a couple of months ago. And so things are actually, very, very early in the process there. And we've got years and years of the game's design and development already behind us. So, that might be why you come into the game and you see, wow, they've got all this other stuff, figured out and designed and already developed, but they have they don't have answers to the NFT questions yet. And well, that's why, right? Like we've been working on everything else for years, and then
Mhm.
Playable came along and offered us this partnership very recently. So this is sort of early stages for us as far as that goes. But the game's core design, its overall game design has been in place for many years now.
Yeah, I guess the most important is ready or almost ready, uh, and that's what it counts at the end to have a gun. Like when I start playing shooters, I'm always playing talking about guns. I'm saying that it's very important to have these games, like the game to be ready and functional, in my opinion, way before to start talking about NFTs or whatever. And you guys already have that ready, and I think Playable, we are with them, like all in, and they are doing the right thing. They are not selling stuff and making you wait months before to try your NFT, right? So you guys already have that. You still have some work to get this connection to their blockchain, and I'm sure that you guys definitely gonna rock it, and we're gonna see good stuff. All right. I saw Mr. CO2 have another question on YouTube. So he's saying, will there be a ranking system? And do you think you will do like weekly tournaments if if it gets too busy on the beta, or every so often?
Those are, I mean, ranked is pretty much a certainty for us. At this point, we've experimented with MMR systems in the past with
Hmm?
development, and we're definitely interested in creating Revan as a competitive experience where ranked gameplay is a viable avenue for the average player. Um, with that said, when it comes to tournaments, it's like Silas said earlier, we are very interested in being an esport, and we don't have the specifics of what tournaments would look like in Revan, and it would take some time for us to build the systems that we would need for those to take place. But it's definitely something that's on our radar, something we're really interested in doing. So definitely look forward to more updates in the future regarding that stuff.
And for tournaments, I'm personally very interested in creating like what I would consider casual tournaments. That you have, of course, very like professional type of tournaments where you have maybe franchising or entry fees that are, quite large, and they're very, much a promoted big event. But then on the smaller level, I think you can create tournaments that are like a weekend tournament similar to the League of Legends Clash system, where you can get a group of your friends together who are of equal skill level and play with your friends on the weekend in a small tournament and pay a very small entry fee, and then maybe win some prize winnings at the end of it all by going through a small bracket with basically just other small groups from around the region. And I think that type of tournament is something that I think would be amazing to have in Revan. Obviously, at this point, we don't know when that's coming and exactly what it's going to look like. But having talked with Playable and internally, that's one of the things that we'd like to do for tournaments in Revan.
Amen, man. Amen, man. We need competition here. We are very competitive. I don't know if you know, but we have been create like the guild have been created around July of last year, and we were one of the top guild on Townstar. We were always top 10, top 3, top 15, always, 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 and we have been very, very new on the game. So competition is our blood, man. We love that. As soon as we find a game that has competition, everyone starts playing as crazy, man. And we cannot wait to have this competition going. So I do have some question about the gameplay. So is there any stats like when you play, for example, the number of kills, the number of shoots, or the number uh, like general stats to compare, for example, to brag your friend, hey, I got more kills than you, something like that.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's the in-game leaderboard,
All right.
um, which is like the immediate one, and then match history as well. Uh,
So so
but
the
I
leaderboard is like the ranking of all the players, or is
No, it's the in-game leaderboard. It's telling you
okay.
all of the information about the players within each individual match. Overall ranking leaderboard is a great idea and something that I think we'll eventually implement.
Nice, nice. So if I understand, you can see only your own stats. Can you see the other stats, for example?
So right now, I believe you can only see your own stats. However, the ability to see other players' stats is something that we've had in the past. So just for a little bit of context, about a year ago, we switched a lot of our internal servers over to a new system, which used a new programming language, new database structures, and we basically had to rebuild a whole bunch of our code from the beginning. And we could use the old code for reference, but it needed to be rebuilt in order to make a lot of features work properly. And switching over to this new system made the game a lot more scalable, so we could launch it all around the world rather than just in the US. And there's some other reasons that went into it as well for like optimization and that kind of thing. So prior to that big switchover, we actually had the capability to look at everyone's player profiles in game. We had a rank system. You could look at, you know, how many games they won, what their kill to death ratio was, how many resources per match they were collecting, that kind of thing, how fast they were winning matches, how many games they had played. Um, and we've been rebuilding all of that infrastructure, and it is almost ready to release. Um, I believe that we are very close to getting that match history back out to where you can see other people's match history. I don't know the exact time when that will be coming out, but I would expect it's going to be within the next few weeks.
Nice, nice. And if someone has any bug or feedback to share, how we can do that? Like, is there any place how we can report a feedback or or a bug in a game or something like that?
We have
Us.
internal feedback channels in our
On
Discord, and
great.
there's a bug reports channel that community members can access and document their bugs. We prefer to have screenshots, if possible, or some sort of documentation of whatever the bug is. But if you can't get it, that's not a problem. Just describe it to us, and we'll try and replicate it, and get a resolution for it.
That's great. That's great. And again, guys, for the one who are listening in YouTube, you can find all the links for Raven below in the comments and follow them. And there is Twitch, there is Discord. They are very, very, very active. If you have question, please join them um, and ask question and join us in the fight. So again, last call, guys. Do you have any other question for the Raven team, for Mr. Silas and Olister? So I saw that you are already answering the question on, like, if you have a legendary NFT, it gives you the edge on the start because it could be frustrating to have that edge on new players.
Playable has been pretty clear in our conversations with them that pay to win is not something that we're interested in.
Oh yeah, they will not do that. They have this mentality of giving the chance to everyone to earn and not creating a well environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So NFTs in Revan will be primarily cosmetic.
Mhm.
Um, so when you're purchasing things like a skin or for your character or for your weapon or an emote, those things will be NFTs that you can, trade or sell if you're interested in that. That's how a legendary NFT will make its way into the game. Um, they won't give you any sort of stat bonuses or special abilities because that is something that we don't believe in as developers, and Playable doesn't believe in as players themselves. I've spent a lot of time talking with Old Bull and Jet and Loomis and the other people over on their team, and they are well aware that putting pay to win elements into REVN would kill it as a competitive esport, and that's not what they
Mm-hmm.
want to do. They
Totally.
agree with us. We have the same vision for what REVN should be.
Oh yeah, totally. I totally agree. The NFT never should never be something that give more power than other that don't have it. Like the game should be a skill stuff.
Exactly.
Like if you earn more or if you win more, that's because you are skilled. It's not because you are richer and you bought a lot of NFTs that give you more. But totally agree.
Right.
And for example, the guns, we saw that. I know it's a test play, but is there any future guns that we're gonna see that you can share with us,
Uh,
of course?
I can share that there will be future guns.
Wow, very nice. Um,
make,
I'm trying to think what
make
our
us
next guns
make us dream a bit.
are.
Yeah, is there anything, Silas, that it comes
I
to
know one
mind?
of the next weapons we'd like to do would be like a heavier sort of machine gun, like an LMG style weapon for like suppressive fire. We don't really have any weapons like that right now.
Okay.
So like a heavy, long range, large magazine capacity, weapon is something that's going to be on the horizon. So internally we'll be just referring to it as the LMG until we have a proper name for it. And I think beyond that, we'd actually like to start branching out into some new types of weapons. And these are things that you might not see for a long time. So I'm just going to throw these out there so you can dream about them until they're a reality.
Yeah.
But we would like to put things like bow weapons in, like a bow and arrow style weapon. We think would be
Yes.
really fun. We would like to see melee weapons. Melee weapons is something that we've been asked about for a very long time. It's something that we've been dreaming about doing in the game. And so that will be a huge update in the future where you can start using, energy swords or daggers or something in the game, either as sidearms or as your primary weapon.
Nice. 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 No flamethrower.
Oh, we already have that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
ability. It's an ability, not a weapon. But
Oh, okay.
it consumes you basically like toggle it on, and then it consumes the energy as you hold down M1. So as you
Oh,
fire it, it eats energy as your ammunition.
okay.
Um
I will definitely try it. I love flamethrowers.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm actually a huge flamethrower fanatic. And I highly recommend what I call the Boba Fett build, where you bring a flamethrower, a jetpack, and a wrist rocket, and you
Who
just kind
don't
of
who don't like it? Who don't like flamethrowers? Everyone like it.
Flamethrowers are fun. Since we are mentioning them, I do believe they are disabled in multiplayer right now while we work on a
Okay.
bug with them. So I know I'm raining on the parade here, letting everybody down.
but
But
I
there is a bug where
Okay.
they do work in the practice tool. So you can try it out.
All right.
If you launch the game, you click on training, and then you go to practice mode. You can use the flamethrower in that and try it out, but it's not enabled in multiplayer right now. I'm hoping we can have that bug fixed in the next week or two. So you may not see it during the initial VI3 testing, but you will almost certainly see it by the time that testing opens up to the general public.
That's perfect. All right. We have Mr. Kono. Come on, Mike, please.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we hear you loud and clear.
Hey, how you guys doing? So I played today for the first time. Great job. Game looked good. Had a playstyle question though. With using the guns, that kind of seemed, with like other MOBAs, like auto attack to me. And when you have a gun like that, you want to go out guns blazing. But my question is, with the abilities, certain MOBA games, depending on your build, you would only use the abilities. If you're strong on the abilities, you guys been playing a lot longer than any of us playable guys, but is there circumstances where you rarely use the gun? You use more abilities because you're not putting points into your gun, and you're pretty much just using abilities and the gun maybe just to finish somebody off, or is that something that you guys certain builds have?
100%. There is definitely like a basic attack self-reliance on the uh whatever gun you walk out of spawn with, especially in the beginning of the game. But there are a lot of abilities in the game and a lot of items in the game which are designed specifically with the intent of supporting caster builds. Um, and what that looks like in Revan is oftentimes if you go and scroll over an ability, it'll tell you if it has an energy damage ratio, and if it does, you can build energy damage, and that ability will do more damage. Hence, right? Unfortunately, like Silas said, the flamethrower, heat ray, and freeze ray were all bugged because they operate off of they have the same bug basically. Um, and these abilities are a big part of like one of the primary caster builds that is like really strong in the game. So because of their lack of appearance, we definitely saw less casters in that way. Um, and also, the other builds are maybe a little bit more difficult to pilot or not as user friendly to somebody who is just getting used to the game, because you're going to have to focus more on building things like energy, and you're going to be a really squishy build that's really positioning reliant. But there are some really good energy damage builds out there that can do big damage from far away.
I think a couple we can just highlight really quickly. Orbital Strike is an ability that every account has access to right away. It is, to make the League of Legends reference, because I've spent more time in that game than any other MOBA besides Revan. Um, Orbital Strike can be used in a similar way as Karthus's Q ability, where you can spam it every couple of seconds as you level it up, and as you buy cooldown reduction, you can cast it even more frequently. And it does a lot of AoE damage, so it's great for clearing waves super fast or dishing out tons of damage during a team fight.
Nice.
So actually, during several of the playtests today, I was running a build where I was basically using Orbital Strike and Jetpack and Chilling Blast. So Chilling Blast is a projectile that explodes and then slows enemies that it hits, sort of like an ice ball sort of thing. So I would fly around, use the Chilling Blast to CC the enemies, and then lay down the Orbital Strikes on them while they couldn't, move out of the area. And I didn't even touch my weapon while I'm doing all of that, and I was doing tons of damage and CC, and it's all AoE damage. I've got, this great build going on that can help my team, and really the drawback is I'm just super squishy.
Nice, nice. Thank you, Connor, for your question. Do you have any other question?
Yeah, that was it. It's good to know. Thanks for the feedback. Yeah, it's just like your first day, you're just so tempted to just start shooting that gun, and I was thinking like,
Right.
Yeah, it will come. Thank you for your question. I will bring you to the audience. All right.
I think the other build that's kind of just worth highlighting while we're here is going with Plasma Converter. It's an item that converts some of your ability power into weapon damage, so it's kind of like a hybrid style thing where it kind of does the exact opposite of what he was asking about. But if you're building a lot of ability power for your weapons and you also want that to translate into damage on your weapon, am I saying that correctly? I feel like I stumbled through that.
No, you did that.
Plasma Converter, it's a cool item. Go check it out.
We will definitely. So, guys, last chance for questions, or I will ask it. Last question, guys. Anyone has a last question? All right, so I will ask it. So, for someone that already starts, I feel it myself, and I'm not very good player in shooting games. I'm much better in League of Legends, by the way. But in shooting, uh I don't know. Maybe I'm old. I don't have this reflex anymore. But for someone that is starting new and feeling that the bots, not the like the minion bots are too powerful. What do you recommend Um, because we know that more you play, more your uh, avatar or personage level up, right? So you get more power or more abilities that you upgrade. But for someone that is beginner, what do you recommend?
Um, Anything with sustain is really good, or tankier builds. Don't be afraid to just slot in, uh, some resistances into your build, some tank items,
Mm-hmm.
in 1, 2 slots, or in your gear specializations. And it's a really good way to add a little bit of extra tankiness to your character. Specifically regarding minions, um, we're actually going to be talking about some minion balance stuff on Monday,
Okay.
um, at our balance meeting. So because I actually do think that there is something there that is in the game right now where they're a little bit stronger than they probably should be, um, especially because of how punishing they can be if you get caught out in a group of them is really the big thing. A group of minions can kill a player like pretty easily if the player isn't properly geared or itemized to deal with that type of combat.
Definitely. Definitely. All right, that was great. Uh, I would like to give you any last word before we close it. Silas, Alistair, go ahead.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah, no, it's
uh,
been great being here. You guys had some really good questions. It's been fun playing with some of you already today. We've got more community playtests that'll be hosted in our Discord server. Um, we are doing another one tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So if you just click into our server, it's going to be up in the events at the top. You can click for a reminder to that. And we're going to keep scheduling those throughout this VIB testing period, depending on how many people are showing up to them and what the availability of our devs team is so that we can be there to play with you guys. But don't be afraid to just hop in our server and use the looking for group channel to find more REVN players if you're not finding enough here in the NTM server.
That's great. Thank you very much. So again, guys, that was a very great AMA. You guys answer amazingly. I don't know if we can say that word, but anyway, it was great, guys. I love the game. I cannot wait to get to top level. And by the way, is there a top level? What is the top level? Who is on the top level now? I want to kill him. Just kidding.
Who's that be
Thank-
Kyle?
what are you talking about? It's definitely me.
Oh, okay, okay.
No,
Oh, we have.
it's Kyle. It's Kyle. It's 100% Kyle.
All
I'll
right,
eat those words. He
we're
won
gonna
the
get it.
3v4 earlier.
He
I'm
did.
gonna.
No, he always wins the matches where he's under like teams. That's how you know he's the real legend.
Yeah, he just soloed us, just kind of ran at us, and I literally couldn't produce the damage to kill him. It was really sad.
No, I can imagine that feeling. Again, guys, we're gonna jump for the raffle to the AMA, to the to the NTM AMAs that is just on the top of the NTM stage. Like this, I can share my screen and be transparent. And for everyone that has been here, thank you very much. We're gonna stop the streaming in for that. Silas, Alistair, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we're gonna bring you here again when we're gonna have another update or a major update about the game. And again, guys, subscribe, follow us, and you are welcome to join us to get a bigger team. Thank you all, and have a good day. Bye.
Yeah, thanks.
Yep. Thank you very much.
General.